The topic of VR headsets is already covered by pretty much every small and big sim racing content creator from here all the way to North Korea. And now that there is basically nothing to talk about anymore, Pimax was like, oh, we forgot this ugly asshole, let's send him a headset and give him 2 weeks to make a video about it. The thing is, I never tried VR before and I actually never wanted to. So at first I wanted to say no. I don't get paid, I can't keep the headset, and I have to come up with a video idea that's not already been done 100 times before. But then they mentioned an affiliate link. So I did the math. If this video gets just 10,000 views and every viewer buys just 2 Crystal Supers, I make $2.7 million.
Okay.
So don't be an asshole, go buy 2 Crystal Supers right now with the link in the description below and then come back to this video. Welcome back, and now let's find out why this is probably not only the first, but also the last time Pimax sent me one of their products. I've been driving on an ultra-wide monitor ever since I started sim racing, and like I said, I never even wanted to try VR. Not because I thought it sucked, but because I thought it probably would be awesome. I've watched a lot of videos about VR, and pretty much everyone seemed to agree that driving in VR is amazing. But they also talk about the downsides. Motion sickness, headaches, eye strain, comfort, not being able to see your stuff. And to me, those downsides sounded like a much bigger deal than everyone made them seem. Especially after reading the comments where people talk about VR like it's the golden ticket to the best sim racing experience ever. And that's exactly why I was afraid of trying. What if I absolutely love VR, but hate everything that comes with it? What if I end up going back to my monitor, but now my monitor never feels good enough again? Anyway, Pimax had already shipped the headset, so no excuses now. Setting this thing up turned out to be a little more complicated than I expected, so I had to do a bit of research, but luckily that didn't take too long. And then I was ready to jump into the car for the first time. Take a look.
What the fuck?
As you can see, I was shocked. And I wasn't talking because I had nothing to say. It just felt amazing. And me shaking my head right there was actually because I was annoyed because I wanted to buy my own headset now. The feeling of sitting inside the car, looking around, feeling like you could touch everything. And the image quality was much better than I expected. And then I started driving. I've watched the video from Boosted Media where he compared his lap times between monitor and VR, and he was almost half a second faster in VR. It wasn't his first time driving in VR, but still, half a second sounds promising, right? And it makes sense. The better immersion, the better depth perception everyone is talking about. Well, something felt off the first time I hit Eau Rouge. But okay, everyone misses Eau Rouge from time to time, so I just kept going. Before you start commenting, skill issue or some shit like that, well, obviously, the car doesn't drive itself. Yes, it's a skill issue, but it's not like I've never finished a lap without an incident point before. The last race I drove was actually the Porsche Cup in Spa, and I finished third with 0 incident points. And now I was missing braking markers, apexes, and losing the car everywhere. And the weirdest part, everyone keeps talking about how much better the depth perception is in VR. To me, it was the complete opposite. I actually have much better depth perception on my monitor. Maybe that's because my monitor FOV is dialed in properly, or maybe it's because I'm just used to it. I honestly don't know. And to be fair, I didn't change a single VR setting. I'm sure I could have made it feel more natural, and of course with more practice I would have gotten better, but honestly that wasn't necessary. In that moment, I only compared VR to my monitor, and there was not a single thing VR did better than my monitor. The moment I started driving, I didn't give a shit about immersion anymore. Everything that mattered was driving fast. Being able to look around, that's cool, but while hot lapping, I'm always looking in front anyway. The only place where I really noticed the head movement was actually the last corner out of the bus stop chicane, and even there it really didn't give me any benefit. So hot lapping definitely did not convince me. But there was still one thing that could completely change my mind. Being able to naturally look around while managing through traffic sounded like the biggest advantage VR could possibly have. And because I definitely was not going to join an official race driving like this, I jumped into my first AI race on iRacing ever. Quick disclaimer, it's not like I'm a top 1% driver, but these AI cars drive like absolute grandmas. They brake way too early, way too hard, and accelerate way too late. But still something else stood out to me. And that's the way I manage traffic. When I am next to other cars, I'm not constantly looking at them. It's knowing they are there, giving them enough space and focusing on my own line. Most of the time, just like in hot lapping, I'm looking ahead. If I quickly want to check how much space I have, my peripheral vision is usually enough. And if that doesn't help, I simply press the look left button for a split second. So for me, VR was actually not better in traffic. It made it even worse. The screen doesn't cover your whole sight, so on the sides you can still see the headset. It looks like you are doing this the whole time. So every time I wanted to check the mirrors or the sides, I had to move my whole head. And those constant unnatural head movements were actually more distracting than they helped. After about an hour, I wanted to check if the problem was actually VR or just me. So I jumped into another AI race, but this time on my monitor.
Left side. Still left. Clear on the left. Car on the right. Stay on the left. Still left. Stay on the left. There's an infinite ahead. Clear on the right. Right side. Go left. You're on the left. 3 wide. Right side. 2 wide. Clear. Right side. Still left. Hold your line. Clear on the right. Car on the left. Hold your line. Still left. Stay on the right. Clear. Car on the left. Stay on the right. Hold your line. Still left. Clear on the left. Left side. Stay on the right. clear. 0.259. Left side. Hold your line.
As you can see, much cleaner racing, and I would never make a mistake in that race. Sure, part of that was me getting used to the AI, but I honestly felt the biggest difference was me going back to my monitor. Now, yes, you could absolutely argue that just 1 hour in VR is not enough, and I also didn't change any VR settings, so I didn't really give VR a fair chance. That's true, but honestly, I didn't want to. After everything that I experienced in that 1 hour, I can honestly say my monitor setup isn't missing anything that VR could give me. And even my opinion about immersion ended up being completely different than I expected. Because while most people say VR is way more realistic than just staring at a monitor, to me VR feels like it's pretending to be something it's not, which is literally what VR stands for, virtual reality. Maybe that's simply because today's VR still isn't close enough to reality to fully convince my brain. I constantly saw the inside of the glasses, somehow it felt like I was crossing my eyes the whole time, the movement kinda feels unnatural, but my monitor setup does not try to be anything else. It's just a simulator, and that actually feels more authentic and realistic to me. Before testing the headset, I was actually scared that VR would ruin my monitor, but that's not what happened. If one day I have more space, I will definitely go for a triple screen setup, just to have that little extra, but until then I'm happier than ever with my single screen setup, which, to be honest, that's a huge ass screen. So after everything I said, I also want to be fair, because this video isn't me saying VR is bad. It's me saying VR isn't for me. If you're just getting into sim racing, or if you're just looking for fun, or if you don't have much space, I would definitely consider trying VR. It's definitely one of the coolest sim racing experiences you can make. Think about cruising around the Nürburgring in a Assetto Corsa Evo with your favorite road car on a sunny afternoon. Or jumping into a Formula car, which I didn't even try. That's probably amazing in VR. So go ahead and press the link in the description below and buy your first Pimax Crystal Super.